Hello there, my very good friends. Andy Murray here for What Culture Wrestling, and the WWE roster is in a constant state of flux. Now, at the top of your card, you've got your Roman Reigns, your Charlotte Flairs, your New Days, your Brock Lesnars. These people are relatively safe. They're always going to be presented well. Their pushes are solid, concerted, long-term. They're going nowhere. These people, however, are also the minority, right? The vast majority of WWE's roster aren't fortunate enough to benefit from that kind of push, and, well, it's quite understandable. I mean, they've got like over 300 wrestlers on their books. You can't push everyone at once. However, this company, if we're being honest, really stops and starts pushes at the drop of a pin, at the drop of a button, whatever the hell that stupid saying is. They change their mind all the goddamn time. 1 minute you're flying high, you're contending for titles on a pay-per-view, and the next you're on main event going 4 minutes with Bo Dallas. This happens constantly, and we've seen several examples of it already this year, which is what we're going to talk about today. However, I'm going to exclude completely any wrestler that is currently opting not to work through the ongoing global situation. We've no idea whether or not the likes of Sami Zayn, Robert Roode, Peter Dunne, Jordan Devlin, we've no idea whatsoever what kind of faith WWE have in these guys at the moment, although it will be interesting to see how they fare when they come back. Something tells me that Roman Reigns is going to be just fine. Anyway, let's just get on with the list. I'm Andy for What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 wrestlers that WWE have given up on in 2020. Number 10, Riddick Moss. This is a really peculiar case. Mojo Rawley recruits Riddick Moss as his sidekick. He's got this big, yoked up, muscle-bound dude who can protect him as 24/7 champion. No scamp's gonna roll him backstage, roll him up on a piss bucket and steal his title with an egg, all that wacky stuff. It's not gonna happen to Mojo Rawley because he's got Riddick Moss, his offensive lineman, this big burly bruising dude. Cool, double act, nice. Mojo's doing something, Riddick looks alright. Cool, let's run that out. Lasted about 2 weeks, didn't it? Riddick turned on Mojo, took the belt, and then started defending it in these boring ass matches on Raw. Now, no disrespect to him as an athlete or his competitors, he faced Ricochet in one of these, and Ricochet is like something you take out of a video game. However, you don't want basic ass boring 50-50 Raw matches from the 24/7 title. You want stupid nonsense, man. You want eggs. You want, I don't know, Noam Dar running backstage going, Daphne. You want silliness. We didn't get that. We got a bland, boring reign. It was the longest in history. It didn't work, didn't connect, didn't get over. And then Riddick Moss vanished in March. He won on the 9th of March episode of Raw. He lost his 24/7 title to R-Truth while he was out jogging, and he's been nowhere to be found ever since. No word of an injury, no word of him refusing to work. Seems very much like the company has just forgotten he exists. Poor guy never really got off the ground. Number 9, Bianca Belair. Another really weird one. Like, what the hell are they doing with Bianca Belair at the moment? She debuted for the main roster, if we can still call it that, at WrestleMania 36. She dominated the next night of Raw. She made several appearances since then. Looked like they had a fun little unit going on with her husband Montez Ford and of course his fellow Street Profits member Angelo Dawkins. It was working well. But then they decided, WWE, that they just wanted the Street Profits to do weird comedy with some Viking fellas, more on that later, and Bianca Belair disappeared into thin air. She's currently fanning around on Main Event, and I mean, I'm sure these 4-minute 3-star matches on Main Event are fine, but not many people are paying attention to that. Now, this is particularly galling as the Raw Women's division isn't in the best of places at the moment. It could really do some depth. It could really do this cool, charismatic, powerful, athletic, up-and-comer, making waves, climbing to the top of the rankings, posing a challenge, shaking things up, but they're just not using her. Guys, I cannot wrap my big old head around this, and I'm really struggling. If you got a good explanation for what the hell's going on with Bianca Belair, why she's on Main Event when she should be starring, I don't know why they're focusing on bloody Natalia at the moment, all due respect, let us know, because I am lost. Number 8, Akam. We kind of knew this was coming. WWE did the exact same thing last year. Akam picked up an injury in January 2019. Instead of using Razar on television, his fellow AOP partner, they just took him off. He was gone for 6 months until his partner recovered. Now, Akam is getting the very same treatment. Rizar was injured in March, he's gone. Akam is no longer serving in Seth Rollins' army. He's no longer being like the big muscular heavy heater dude he could be. He's not having matches, he's off television. They don't want to present these guys as separate. Now, this is kind of strange to me, right? Because Seth Rollins' army could probably use a heater, and if you think about AOP, right, they're really good, they're really explosive, intimidating, they've got a lot of tools, but they are far from the finished product. What these guys need is practice. Practice, 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 match, 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 match. They need to be wrestling every single week. They're not doing that at the moment. Instead of just letting them grow individually while the other one is away and then bringing them back together, WWE is just not booking them, and in my opinion, that's really hindering their growth. I mean, I guess it's kind of understandable, right? They are a tag team, but at the same time, man, I just want to see big beefy boys doing big beefy things. So please, WWE, you're not watching this, but if you are, bring him back. Number 7, Naomi. Naomi made a pretty cool comeback in the Royal Rumble this year, and it actually caught a fair bit of attention outside of the usual wrestling bubble. There was all kinds of people, notable people, tweeting about her entrance. It was exuberant, it was fired up, it was athletic, it was all the things we've come to expect from Naomi at her best, really, and she looked good in the Royal Rumble. She was in there for like 22 minutes, good little run, good little comeback, back on the scene, going to be a presence on the mid-card, maybe challenge for a title here and there. Well, that lasted all of about 3 weeks. She was kind of flirting with title contention, she had her forays there, but she's since totally disappeared. She hasn't won a match since February. She's not even featuring on the mid-card at the moment. She is lucky to make television. This is a little perplexing to me because, okay, right, so she's not quite as complete a performer as a Sasha Banks or a Bayley, but she's pretty damn good and people like her a lot, and she's got a great entrance and a really cool moveset, so mid-card would be cool, man. Just get her on TV. She's pretty good. Nope. Vanished. Lost faith. Gone. Number 6, the Forgotten Sons. I feel really sorry for Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake here, man. They've done nothing wrong, right? Jackson Riker, he did that Twitter thing, and that Twitter thing was objectively a bad idea. Now, I don't think it matters what his political beliefs are. I don't think he's being punished for supporting the President of the USA. Think about who WWE are for a second. Linda McMahon was on Donald Trump's cabinet and she only quit to run a super PAC for his re-election. Donald Trump has been on WWE television several times. He is in Vince McMahon's Hall of Fame. I don't think for a second that WWE is going to punish a guy for voting Republican. However, you know, with all the stuff that's going on in the world, as pointed out by Kevin Owens on Twitter, you can't use that. You can't use current tensions to get over a wrestling catchphrase, and at the same time, it's kind of tone deaf to put out this kind of glowing, praising tweet in support of someone that a lot of people see as an antagonist in all of this. This has alienated him from the locker room. It was a staggering example of failing to read the room. And now we know they had a program with the New Day planned for the Forgotten Sons for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. It's gone. Riker has seemingly been ostracized. Who knows what's going to happen to these guys? But again, Cutler and Blake, those poor guys, they worked so hard to get up from NXT. Now they're here and their big silly partner has kind of blown it all up for them. It really is awful from them. Let's see if WWE come up with something. Riker, man, got a lot of atoning to do for. Number 5, Carmella. Now I know this happened last year, but man, why did WWE split up the Fabulous Truth? I mean, they were really good together. It was good for both of them. R-Truth, Carmella, entertaining, chemistry, genuinely funny. They were just a good time on the mid-card, but they split. Carmella enjoyed a little bit of prominence on SmackDown after that. She was still kind of being pushed. She was on the mid-card. She was doing bits here and there. Now, not even that, man. Like in 2020, her usage rate has just gone all the way down. She qualified for Money in the Bank, but only by beating Mandy Rose because Sonya Deville showed up and distracted her. She's not doing anything, and it's kind of strange when you think back to where she came from. The Asuka feud, which was so damaging. She was champion for 120 days. She won the first ever Women's Money in the Bank twice, I tell you. And now, just not being used, and kind of disappointing. Much improved wrestler, great personality. Let's get her back on TV. Come on. Number 4, the Viking Raiders. Now this one's a little bit different because WWE haven't lost faith in the Viking Raiders to the extent that they've removed them from TV. These guys are on TV every single week. The way they've lost faith in them is in presenting them as any kind of believable threat ever again. Now, we probably should have seen this coming with the Viking Experience stuff, and don't get me wrong, I get a weird kick out of their goofy segments with the Street Profits, but man, these guys were destroyers. You know what we're gonna have? You ever heard like an old-time wrestling fan going, man, the Sheep Herders were a really good, vicious heel tag team back in the day before they came to WWE and became the Bushwhackers? I think that's what we're gonna get with the Viking Raiders. They were awesome in NXT. They were violent, they were scary, they were aggressive, they were just war machines, man. There's a belief out there that, well, they have personality now, as if personality means they're able to recite bad WWE writers' jokes on television. That's not a personality trait. Aggression is, fighting spirit is, being really bloody scary is. They had personality, it was just a different kind, but now they are goofballs, and it sucks. Number 3, Kairi Sane. Alright, so let's remove the concussions, let's remove the gashed head, let's remove everything Nia Jax related, because even without that, Kairi Sane was still having a terrible, terrible 2020, enough to make me believe that WWE just don't have any faith in her. Now, she came back, she lost to Becky Lynch, that was fine. Tag team partner Asuka was feuding with the man at the time, so of course you beat one partner, you face the next. It's pretty good booking. But after that, things got no better. Kairi just took the pin in almost every loss. She had no luck in the singles realm. She became Asuka's sidekick rather than her tag team partner, even when they were still tag team champions. She's really struggling. Then WWE just kind of made her a squash match victim for Nia Jax, and I said we were going to remove all that stuff, but man, I can't really. It's just so bad. I mean, how many times is she going to get hurt wrestling this clumsy wrestler who... Never mind all that. Kairi Sane, hope you get well soon. Way too talented to be in her current role, should be flying. Let's hope things improve when she returns. Number 2, Dominic Djokovic. Did you know that this guy has only won 2 matches in 2020? His record is 2-5. I think he suffers, personally, from being in the same place as Keith Lee. Now, you're gonna think I'm mental, because Djokovic's best moments in NXT came when he was working with Keith Lee, and those matches were fantastic, really good stuff. However, it's hard not to look at him as somewhat inferior, because he's this big guy who can do these crazy athletic feats and the power stuff as well, but Keith Lee is just maybe a little bit better. He's got a little more personality, he can talk as well. It's not a favourable comparison for Djokovic. Now, he's going to Raw soon. We've heard this from various reports. He's going to Raw, but is he going to fare any better? I mean, recent call-ups, we've seen people show up, they've looked good for a couple of weeks, and then they've just kind of tapered off, joined the middle pack. I honestly worry for the dude a little bit because he's not the best talker in the world. Most of WWE's managers appear to have their clients locked in right now. I don't really think MVP is going to go looking for Djokovic when he comes up. I don't know, man, like, I hate to be grim about such a talented guy's future, but there's a lot to suggest that maybe the company don't have as much faith in him as they used to. I'm not saying it's gone entirely. I'm sure he can be a fine presence on Raw, and hey man, like, some of the flippy-dippy-doo-dah stuff he does is incredible, and it's always gonna pop people, but plenty of evidence there, man. Number 1, Shayna Baszler. So we hear a lot about Shayna Baszler backstage and what various people think of her. One week it was Paul Heyman, she's a Paul Heyman girl, he's gonna push her to the moon and all this stuff. And then we hear stuff from Vince, who thinks she's too old or whatever, doesn't like her look, isn't into the gimmick, all this stuff. Now, I'm inclined to believe all of those reports, right? Because look at her presentation so far. She probably should have won the Royal Rumble, she didn't. She then looked really, really strong in the Elimination Chamber. It was a great presentation. Probably should have gone on to WrestleMania 36 and defeated Becky Lynch. She didn't. Then Becky Lynch announces her pregnancy and everything just kind of goes to hell. Shayna comes back, she does a few squashes, she looks like a demon, and then she vanishes. She's gone, she's not on TV at the moment, and to me that's kind of unfathomable, right? Because look at the state of the division. I don't think it's in crisis, but it's not great. You've got Asuka, Nia Jax, Natalya's fanning around somewhere, Charlotte Flair, obviously, her push is immortal. There's not a whole lot other than that. Liv Morgan's a nice little up-and-comer, but you could do another menacing heel threat there. You could really do with a stone-cold killer like Shayna Baszler. But she's not there. For whatever reason, she's not being presented in a way that enhances her skill at all. In fact, she's not being presented at all. She's not making TV. To me, kind of baffling. I get that a lot of people aren't as into her work. It's not very flashy, but I love it. It's menacing, it's realistic, it's believable. It's everything I want from pro wrestling. I know a lot of you feel the same. Just let Shayna snap people's arms. It's not too hard. It's pretty easy, actually. But anyway, guys, that's it. My list is done, but can you guys think of any other wrestlers that you think WWE has given up on in 2020? I'm sure you can. I'm sure you find plenty to disagree with on this list. So, hit up the comment section, let me know what you think. That would be cool. You know what else would be cool? If you liked, shared, subscribed, rang the bell for notifications, then found us on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE and myself at Andy H. Murray, where you can tell me how wrong I am. I won't take it personally, but if you're a dickhead, I will mute you. Bye bye.